Okay, so now in this one, we want to talk about how to work smarter and to have a little bit more ability to duplicate whatever you've done in one image across maybe multiple images. And there's several ways to do it. Lightroom has given you plenty of ways that you can take what you've done in one image and apply it across others. The first one that I tend to like the most is I'll come in and here I have an image, and I'm going to do some of my changes to it. I do auto, and then I'm going to add a little clarity and a little vibrance. And then I decide, you know what, the story is really about her than all that color in the background, so let's change it to black and white so it becomes a little bit more about her and less about those colors. And so I like that. Maybe I even come down here to effects and add a little vignette, and we're going to talk about that later. But okay, so I do all that, and then I realize that I want to do that to the next one. Well, I just will simply come over here and hit previous, and it'll apply that to that same image, apply the same settings to the next image. Now here's the thing, I can undo that. I can take this, and if I've got my film strip open like this, I can come to this one because I didn't necessarily like that one before, skip over that, and because I've gone from that first one to this one, I can still hit previous and it'll apply the setting. Whichever one is the next image I click onto, I can apply previous to. And I use that all the time. I'm going to step back, undo, and I'm going to go to this one. There's another way to do that. One of the things you can do is you can take, okay, I've done that. Now I'm going to just hold shift and click and highlight all of them. Or maybe I don't like that one. I don't want to apply it to that one, but I want to apply it to the rest. I've made the switch to that first one, all the adjustments. I can now come over here and hit sync. Now this kind of tripped me up at first because I expected as soon as I hit that, it was going to just apply it to those others, almost like it was pasted to it. But what it does is it says, well, what do you want to sync things to? And white balance, toning, clarity, yes, especially black and white, and then effects, yeah, post, cropping, yep, process version, that's deciding whether or not it's going to be the latest process version like we've talked about. And so I go yes, and then when I hit synchronize, then they change right along with it. But here's the thing, if I come over here to this original one now, and I do some changes, like maybe I want to really bump up the clarity, it doesn't automatically change these up. See, the clarity stayed at 23, and the clarity stayed at 23 there. If you want it to be so that they're interactive, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to, let's undo, let's bring it back here so that the clarity is the same as the others. All right, so now all three of those are highlighted. If I come over here and toggle this on to auto sync, this is what I thought sync would do when I first started playing with it. Now, whenever I come over here, and let's say I want it brighter, I crank up the highlights, if you'll notice, what it will do, exposure, it will brighten up all three of them at the same time. It's like they're linked together, and they're synced, but they automatically change. So then I come back down here and I go, no, let's darken it up. And you see them changing down here in the bottom immediately. So that's another way. Just understand the difference between sync is you go ahead and you say, hey, yeah, apply to the rest of the images what I've already done on this image, where auto sync says whatever I change, apply it to everything at the same time. And you should be okay with that. The other thing that you can do, let's first of all undo that. We're going to deselect all these. And as soon as you deselect, the syncing's broken on those things. But now what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and I'm going to select, once again, this image right here. And very similar to syncing, I'm just going to go, all right, I like that. Let's take this and bring it back to reset, and we'll reset this one. So now what I can do is I like what I've done there. I just hit copy, or I could use the keyboard shortcut Control-C. And here again is that same settings, and I just say, yes, I want to copy all those. Now keep in mind, if I had cropped any of these and I left crop on, then the crop would be applied to all the images. So you don't necessarily want to do that. You always need to be aware of which ones you want to apply and which ones you don't, because it could end up being more work than help if you apply things that you don't want to have happen across all of them. But once I decide, yes, I want those, I hit copy, and now I can come into any picture anywhere in the collection. I could have 1,000 right here, go to this one down here, and I'm just going to hit paste or use the keyboard shortcut Command V, and it just pops up and pastes the duplicate settings right there on the thing. And so I tend to use previous and copy and paste more than I use syncing, but different people have different ways to do it. But just know there's several ways that you can take what you've done in one and apply it across multiple images to really speed up your workflow.